Gloves are more than just a fashion statement or a way to keep your hands warm. They have a wild, quirky history that spans centuries, cultures, and some downright bizarre moments. Did you know gloves were once used to slap people into duels, or even to smuggle secret messages? Today, we are pulling on the threads of history to explore gloves, those hand-hugging accessories that have been everything from status symbols to tools of rebellion. From ancient tombs to modern runways, gloves have a tale to tell. And it is packed with intrigue, innovation, and a few oddball moments. Knights wore heavy leather gauntlets to protect their hands in battle, often adorned with metal plates or intricate embroidery. These were not just armor, they were a way to flex your wealth and craftsmanship. Cotton and wool gloves flooded the market, while leather remained a luxury. In the 19th century, etiquette ruled supreme, and gloves became a social must-have. Women were expected to wear gloves in public to maintain modesty, and men tipped their hats with gloved hands to show respect. In Victorian England, gloves were so tied to propriety that a lady dropping her glove in public might spark a scandal or a secret flirtation. Even today, gloves carry weight. Poisoned gloves, laced with deadly powders, were allegedly used to assassinate rivals in European courts. Talk about a killer fashion statement. Another odd tidbit: in the 1800s, glove stretchers, wooden tools shaped like hands, were used to keep gloves in perfect shape. Wealthy households had entire collections of these bizarre gadgets. Think of surgical gloves in hospitals, symbolizing trust and safety, or boxing gloves, embodying strength and competition. Gloves were the perfect cover, decent looking, but full of secrets. And did you know the world's most expensive gloves, sold at auction, were a pair worn by Muhammad Ali, fetching over $800,000? Drop a comment below. Have you got a favorite pair of gloves? Or did any of these facts blow your mind? Let us know. Gloves are not just accessories, they are pieces of history with stories to tell. Stay curious, and we will see you in the next one. Gloves are small, but their cultural impact is massive. They have been symbols of power, tools of survival, and canvases for creativity. Whether they are protecting a knight in battle, dazzling on a red carpet, or helping an astronaut touch the stars, gloves remind us that even the smallest objects can carry big stories. The next time you slip on a pair, think about the centuries of quirks, scandals, and innovations stitched into them. Removing a glove to shake hands. That was a big deal, a sign of trust and intimacy. In churches, bishops donned ornate gloves during ceremonies, believing they kept their hands pure for sacred rituals. The rise of automobiles led to driving gloves, designed for grip and style. Accepting the glove meant you were ready to fight. In Japan, gloves have a different vibe. White gloves are worn by taxi drivers and train conductors to symbolize cleanliness and precision, reflecting the country's obsession with order. In pop culture, gloves are a shorthand for coolness or mystery. Michael Jackson's single sequined glove, iconic. Superheroes like Black Panther or Iron Man. Their gloves are high-tech weapons. Gloves tell stories about who we are and what we value. Hollywood-made gloves, iconic. Think Audrey Hepburn-esque. Elegant black gloves in Breakfast at Tiffany-esque or Marilyn Monroe-esque. Sultry satin pairs. Meanwhile, technology pushed innovation. In the 1960s, NASA developed gloves for astronauts, using cutting-edge materials to withstand extreme conditions. Today, touchscreen gloves let us swipe our phones without freezing our fingers, blending fashion with function in ways our ancestors could never have imagined. Gloves were no longer just about function. They were a language of status and spirituality. Let us unravel it together. European nobility went wild for them, commissioning gloves made of the finest silk, velvet, and even gold thread. Queen Elizabeth I was a glove fanatic, owning hundreds of pairs, some scented with perfumes like amber or musk. These gloves were so valuable that losing one was a social scandal. Artisans pushed the boundaries, creating gloves with lace cuffs, gemstone embellishments, and even tiny pockets for secret love letters. Gloves were the ultimate flex-part fashion, part intrigue. Stick around to uncover the surprising story behind this everyday accessory. Welcome back to Objectified, the channel where we dive into the hidden stories of the objects that shape our world. The story of gloves begins thousands of years ago, long before they became a fashion staple. Archaeologists have found evidence of gloves in ancient Egypt, where King Tutankhamun was buried with a pair of linen gloves around 1350 BC. These were not just for warmth, they were a symbol of wealth and divine protection. In ancient Persia, gloves made of silk or leather were reserved for royalty and high-ranking warriors, showcasing their status. Meanwhile, in colder regions like Scandinavia, early humans stitched together animal hides to protect their hands from frostbite during harsh winters. Gloves were practical, but they quickly became a canvas for showing off power and prestige. Fast forward to the Middle Ages, and gloves took on a whole new role. By the Renaissance, gloves became a full-blown obsession. The Industrial Revolution changed the game. Machines made gloves cheaper and more accessible so everyday people could afford them. The 20th century brought gloves into the modern age. Gloves have always carried deep cultural meaning. In medieval Europe, throwing down a glove was a challenge to a doula, literal throwing hands moment. In some cultures, gloves are tied to superstition. In parts of Eastern Europe, losing a glove was considered bad luck, while finding one could mean a new friendship, ready for some glove-related weirdness. In the 16th century, some gloves were so toxic they were used as weapons. Here is a wild one. During World War II, spies used gloves to smuggle microfilm-encoded messages, hiding them in secret linings. From ancient Egypt to modern touchscreens, gloves have woven themselves into the fabric of human history. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the quirky history of gloves, give this video a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button to join the Objectified crew. Thanks for hanging out with us on Objectified, where we make everyday objects extraordinary.